My name is Jen. I've been in the company at Big Viking Games for almost 7 years now. My role has morphed slowly, but right now it's learning and development specialist, and I do a lot of the engagement pieces at Big Viking Games as well.
Hey there, my name is Bob, and I've been in and around HR for 20 something years. And here at Big Viking Games, approximately a year and a half, going on a year and 3/4. And so basically, we're a gaming organization which has approximately 65 employees. We also own another company, gaming company in India called Gametronics, which is separately run for now. And basically, we were focused, Jen and I have been working on the cultural aspects, for the past year or so. And, we've been working on helping to improve the culture and people's perceptions. So, that culminated last year in us receiving Great Place to Work certification. And so, we were always on the lookout for different types of programs and technology to help with those programs and in order to sustain that culture that we had built up.
We were hungry for engagement pieces and things that built culture. And so we were kind of looking around for anything that would help us with that. So we had an internal kind of system called Vicoins, where we would send appreciation to a fellow employee. Thank you for helping me on this project. Here's 3 Vicoins. Welcome to Big Viking Games. Here's 5 Vicoins. And we were doing it actually physically while we were in the office. When we decided to go remote, we needed something to replace those physical Vicoins because we still really liked what that offered and what that represented, but we didn't know how to do it. When I was in the office, I was physically handing out gift certificates, gift cards, and we needed to somehow seamlessly make that change. Okay, so for me, we had at the time employees all over the world, 16 different countries. And so we wanted something that was really inclusive for everyone. So the difficulty that we had was kind of like we had these gift cards we could give out, but maybe our Canadian gift cards did not work in India or didn't work in Africa. And we needed something so that all of the employees felt involved and included. And so that was for me the biggest challenge and something that we were really looking for.
And in terms of our side, the couple other pieces that we're looking at was something that we could use for surveys, something that we could use to enhance communication, just another channel, because we firmly believe there's no such thing as communicating too often. Organizations may think that they communicate a lot. They actually don't, right? Because if you ask employees, even though you told them 5 times, they're like, I didn't see that. Yeah, we sent you an email, we sent you a Slack, we sent you this, right? So again, we needed another channel to keep reinforcing some of the messages that we had in that area. Also, we wanted to up our game, right? So what we're looking at, pieces for individuals to be more creative. And that's one thing Joint Assembly did, with the gifts that you're able to add to some of the recognition aspects, so just a line, hey, thank you for this, it's this value. And okay, that's all right. But, you can really crank it up to the next level with a GIF and people can have a little chuckle at it. And we see much more interactivity as well, with the ability to like and say thank you and so on and interact with a recognition piece.
Onboarding process was pretty seamless. I really just kind of submitted a list of names and email addresses, and then it was kind of just taken from there. They walked me through. I work for a tech company, but I am the least techie person there. So it was great. They walked me through it very simply. I think I had 3 or 4 meetings to kind of like get it and then get it again and then make sure I got it. So that was great. That was a great process. And then it was pretty seamless to deliver it to the rest of the organization because we already used Slack. So it kind of had a little bit of a Slack feel to it, which was easy to use, and it was very user friendly. So that wasn't an issue at all for us.
The uptake was like hockey stick, right? It was just very, very, very quick, quite easy. We didn't have to sell it. It wasn't, I think, maybe a 15-minute, hey, this is it. This is how you do things a little bit differently than before. And that was it, right? So almost instant implementation and adoption.
For me is how quickly they're adding stuff to it. So, I mean, I do a lot of surveys, and I really just kind of like find one that's close enough, change it to individualize it to what I needed to say. And that's it. I can do a survey in under 5 minutes, very quickly. So that's been great. And scheduling them to go out on certain dates and times. So I have it all ready, like a 30-day onboarding and a 60 and a 90-day, that's all set up and ready to go. And I don't have to think about it twice. And it's all in one place. So that's really great for me to be able to see.
The other piece too is expanding, some of the cards and services where people could validate that. Also, the flexibility to do it globally. That was quite a big thing. And, people coming back to us and say, hey, could I have this, in these other areas. So it was, the flexibility and the ability to, get feedback from employees and then pass it on to the folks at assembly, and they, actioning those things.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I think in our initial talk, we talked about doing a wiki. And it wasn't something that was set up at the beginning, but very quickly they said they adapted that and said, yep, like this is something that is possible within a few months, which was surprising as well. We were doing the stand-up with assembly for a while, which was really great. We have, morning scrums every morning to kind of talk about what we do. And it's no secret that I do a lot of the talking through them. And so if we kind of got that information out there in the stand-up, it almost prepared my manager, Bob, to know what was coming at him and no surprises. And then it shortened the scrum time a little bit, which is never a bad thing. Just regular scrums. What are you doing for the day? What do you got on the plate? What are your blockers? And with the stand-up feature, it was able to kind of get all out there before we had it. So he was more prepared. Great. I couldn't imagine not having it at this company. Recognition is huge. It builds engagement. So with it not be, I don't know, I couldn't even imagine not having it at this point. People love giving out, points or Vicoins, whatever you call them. They love buying stuff right now. A lot of people are buying gift cards because it's Christmas and they're so excited that they've saved up for so many months, and then they can do these big purchases. So that part is really fun.
Yeah, and we've also expanded it, in terms of beyond recognition. So beyond traditional peer-to-peer recognition, I'll say that, right? So Jen's used it as a tool to, instead of now that reward, instead of if then rewards, we do now that rewards. So instead of saying, if you do this, I'll give you this. We don't do things that way. We say, hey, here are some learning opportunities. So that Jen switched to learners of the week. And then so we're able to give out Vicoins to encourage learning, right? So we didn't promise anything. We just see, hey, who's stepping up and doing this? And so folks would do it, right? People who stepped up in different areas. We also used it to, if we had team lunches, it was an easy way to disperse amounts of money, right? So before it was like, well, I use Skip and I use Uber and I use DoorDash and and you're trying to find all these things. Meanwhile, it's like, boom, hey, here we go. We put things out on assembly, and then everybody gets a lunch at their own way, even if they're in a different country. And so, and then they're able to use, we're able to reimburse people right away. And so it just speeds up our ability to deliver on these pieces of motivation, because again, we don't plan them, right? We're just saying, what are we trying to do? Oh, we're a little bit behind. How do we, we're trying to get a survey done, right? And we're trying to hit, like, I think, was it 90% or 80% or something?
Yeah.
And we just said, okay, if we hit X percentage of people completing surveys, we'll give everybody, X number of iCoins. And so we're able to do this really quickly on the fly. And so that gives us a lot of flexibility. Boom, hey, today we're just buying lunch for everybody. Boop, right? And we pop it out and reimburse everybody up front. And then people can go grab lunch and things like that, right? So it's just allowed us to be more spontaneous, more fun, without people sitting in office, right? Because if we're all together in office, hey, we'll order pizza, right? You serve pizza for everybody. How do you do that 100% remote with people in different countries? Well, we have an answer, right? We use Assembly, and quickly, poof, put that out. We use as prizes as well, right? So we had was it escape room competition with teams against each other, and brackets and championships and things like that. So then we're able to use Assembly for rewards for that. Folks working overtime, right? So there's crunch time. They work on weekends. Hey, buy yourself lunch, buy yourself dinner, right? And we can quickly take care of people so they're not out of pocket. We can preload them, right? And say, hey, man, we really appreciate this. Again, pay overtime, that's one side. But hey, they're working hard, right? So give them lunch, give them dinner.
I mean, before it would be, I'd have to write it down in spreadsheets, order the whole bunch of different cards from a whole bunch of different places to make sure that everybody was happy. And then now just, it's all, I mean, the back end of it, I don't have an issue with finance. They're not reaching out to me all the time saying, can you give me this receipt and who did it and whatever. It's all there. So that saves us a lot of time as well.
What we purchased it for, yeah, it's met or exceeded our expectations on that side, right? And more importantly, the employees like it and use it. I would say, one of the biggest things that contributed to your success is your integration with Slack. Are a company that's on Slack 18 hours a day because of our time zones, right? And so your integration with that just makes things so easy, and that's why we have such high adoption.